This is surgical anatomy related to transoral surgery. The most important first part of transoral surgery is tongue of base. The tongue base refer to the posterior portion of the tongue base that is called oropharynx and that is separated from the anterior tongue by the terminal sulcus. This area derive from second, third and fourth branchial arches. The tongue base contains lingual tonsils, pharyngoepiglottic fold and glossoepiglottic folds. The muscles of the tongue. The tongue is composed of intrinsic and extrinsic muscle and the muscle on each side are separated by the dense fibrous midline band. The intrinsic muscle from superficial to deep are superior longitudinal muscle, inferior longitudinal muscle, transverse and vertical muscle. These muscles generally serve to alter the shape of the tongue. The intrinsic muscle all are innervated by hypoglossal nerve. The intrinsic and extrinsic muscle of the tongue and their relationship is very important. And you can see these intrinsic muscle from superficial to deep. There are four extrinsic tongue muscles originating from outside the tongue and inserting within the substance of the tongue. That is called extrinsic muscle. They are styloglossus, hyoglossus, genioglossus, and palatoglossus. These are paired muscle and which is the main body of the tongue. All tongue muscles are innervated by hypoglossal nerve apart from the palatoglossal which is supplied by the pharyngeal plexus. The hypoglossal nerve passes through the hypoglossal canal traveling alongside fiber with C1 and C2 then passing over the internal and external carotid artery. So it passes deep to lingual nerve along the genioglossus toward the tip of the tongue and it supplies the all muscle of the tongue except palatoglossus. The glossopharyngeal nerve supplies taste of the posterior one third of the tongue by the lingual branch. These fibers travels by the inferior salivatory nucleus from the pons. The vascular supply of the base of the tongue. The principal artery encountered during transoral surgery, the base of tongue mainly supplied by dorsal lingual artery. The dorsal lingual artery is branch of the common lingual artery in which the common lingual artery arises from external carotid artery about 78% of the cases. But sometimes it's coming from a linguofacial trunk in 20% of the cases. It's mainly lies 4 mm superlateral to greater half of the hard bone in the triangle of less that is called lesser triangle between the antervalley of digastric, posteriorly postivalley of digastric and superiorly hypoglossal nerve. So this triangle you can ligate the lingual artery and dorsal lingual artery is the first branch of lingual artery that arises approximately 7 mm from the anterior border of hyoglossus muscle. The vascular territory of dorsal lingual artery stretches from root of the tongue and 5 mm behind the terminal sulcus to the glossoepiglottic fold, glossopalatine arch and the epiglottis. So epiglottis is also supplied by this dorsal lingual artery branch. The ascending segment of lingual artery ascend in the tortuous manner along the anterior border of hyoglossus and the sublingual artery arises about 8 mm above the hyoid bone at the origin of ascending segment passing from genioglossus and sublingual gland. The vascular territory of sublingual artery includes the ventral side of the tongue, anterior and lateral floor of the mouth, and vestibular and lingual gum. You can see in this picture. The horizontal segment of lingual artery becomes the deep lingual artery, which runs forward with many upward and downward branches between the longitudinal muscles and genioglossus muscle. And it also supplies the tip of the tongue. The vascular distribution include the dorsal side of the tongue, lateral side of tongue and part of the ventral side of the tongue. So main artery supplying the posterior tongue as transoral surgery is dorsal lingual artery, which is the branch of common lingual artery. This is the message. And the position of lingual artery within the base of tongue about 2.5 centimeter inferior and 1.6 centimeter lateral to the foramen cecum. Whenever you are doing surgery, you can go, and this is always deep and lateral to the genioglossus muscle. So you have to take care of this dorsal lingual artery branch, which sometimes there may be more severe bleeding which require transcervical ligation of lingual artery and facial artery sometimes. So this is necessary anatomy for base of tongue. The second anatomy in lateral pharyngeal wall, that is also very important in transoral laser surgery, and this is membranous pharyngeal tube extend from skull base to cricoid cartilage, and this is mainly made by the constrictor muscle which arises from head and neck regions from skull base to the cricoid cartilage, thyroid cartilage, and insert into the midline raphe, that is called pharyngeal raphe. The tonsil is the most medial structure of lateral pharyngeal wall, which lies between the palatoglossus and palatopharyngeal muscle. Superiorly, these muscles unite with the levator and tensor palatine muscle, and inferiorly, they are attached to the base of the tongue and pharyngeal wall, merging in the superior constrictor muscle. So, tonsil is on the superior constrictor muscle. Deep to the tonsil lies first to the this circular fiber of constrictor muscle, the superior constrictor, which originate from the posterior midline pharyngeal raphe and attached to the pharyngomandibular raphe. The constrictors, superior, middle, and inferior, sometimes overlap each other, and they are attached posteriorly to the pharyngeal raphe. They act in unison to propel the food from pharynx to the esophagus. And then move more lateral to the superior constrictor, there is styloglossus and stylopharyngeus muscle. The styloglossal and extensive tongue muscle to locate superior inferiorly compared to the stylopharyngeus. These are longitudinal muscles that support the nerve supply of lateral pharyngeal wall. The pharyngeal plexus is responsible for majority of the innervation of the pharynx. The pharyngeal plexus, which is made up of glossopharyngeal nerve and vagus nerve, and the sympathetic fiber from superior cervical ganglion. The sensory supply of oropharynx by the glossopharyngeal and laryngopharynx is supplied by vagus nerve. The glossopharyngeal nerve is located between the styloglossus and stylopharyngeus, which lies between the superior and middle constrictor muscle. The glossopharyngeal nerve is consistently identified at junction of posterior tonsillar and tongue base, and 6 mm deep to posterior tonsillar, you can identify this glossopharyngeal nerve, and you can do glossopharyngeal neurectomy easily at this site, and you should do glossopharyngeal neurectomy at most proximal part of this, means toward the skull base. And motor supply of all muscle of pharynx by the vagus nerve except stylopharyngeus, which is innervated by glossopharyngeal nerve. The vascular supply of the lateral pharyngeal wall originates mainly from external carotid. The upper part of pharynx receives blood supply from pharyngeal branch of the ascending pharyngeal artery, descending branch of the lesser palatine artery. The lower part of pharynx supplied by the inferior thyroid artery and superior thyroid artery. The rest of the pharynx receives blood supply from ascending palatine artery and tonsillar branch of facial artery, as well as some branches from the maxillary artery. The venous drainage of superior aspect of pharynx is via the retromandibular and facial vein, which ultimately drain into internal jugular vein. The inferior aspect of pharynx venous drainage through the pharyngeal plexus. In this drain either into the internal jugular vein or brachiocephalic vein. So this is about venous drainage. The third important anatomy in transoral surgery is larynx. The main laryngeal framework is composed of hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage, and a fusion of two quadrilateral shaped laminae of thyroid cartilage and cricoid cartilage. The larynx is suspended from hyoid bone by two membranes. These membranes, also called ligament, the median and lateral thyroid membranes. Now talk about cartilage of larynx. The thyroid cartilage attaches anteriorly to cricoid cartilage through the cricothyroid membrane, as you see in this picture, and posteriorly through the cartilaginous cricothyroid joint. Inferiorly, the lower body of cricoid cartilage is attached to the trachea by cricotracheal ligament. The medial and lateral thyroid membrane, along with the cricotracheal ligament, are termed extrinsic ligament of the larynx. Within the thyroid cartilage, the endolarynx is supported by intrinsic ligament which is lie beneath the laryngeal mucosal membrane, forming an internal framework and connecting the internal laryngeal cartilage together. So these intrinsic ligament connected each other. There are two intrinsic fiber elastic membrane in the laryngeal ventricle. The first is quadrangular membrane which is stretching from arytenoid cartilage to epiglottis and the free superior border along the aryepiglottic fold and inferiorly free border forming the ventricle of false vocal cord. So free border of quadrangular membrane form the false vocal cord. The inferior membrane called conus elasticus which attachment below the upper border of cricoid cartilage and to the midpoint of the thyroid prominence, anteriorly and posteriorly to the vocal process of arytenoid. And these free border of this conus elasticus form the true vocal ligament. The true vocal fold extends from angle of thyroid cartilage to the vocal process of arytenoid cartilage. These vocal cords are layer structure that is having epithelial squamous epithelium, superficial lamina propria, and vocal ligament. And vocal ligament is made up of intermediate lamina propria, deep lamina propria. So space between the superficial lamina propria and vocal ligament. Vocal ligament, what is vocal ligament? It's between the superficial lamina propria and intermediate and deep lamina propria. So this lamina propria having three parts: superficial, intermediate, and deep. So between superficial and intermediate part of this lamina form the ring cage space. The fusion of two vocal cords anteriorly produce the anterior commissure tendon. The anterior commissure is an important area of transoral surgery as epithelium reaches within 1 and 2 mm of cartilage. There is no perichondrium at the anterior commissure. And this area of anterior commissure is very difficult to expose during MLS or transoral surgery. Superior to anterior commissure, there is thyroepiglottic ligament attached to the epiglottis to the thyroid cartilage. The epiglottis cartilage extends superiorly and posteriorly, forming an important anatomical structure within the larynx that is called preepiglottic space. The preepiglottic space is bounded anteriorly by thyroid hyoid membrane, hyoid bone, posteriorly by epiglottis, and superiorly by the hyoepiglottic ligament, connecting the epiglottis to the hyoid bone. Posteriorly, the vocal cord attached to vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage. The arytenoid cartilage are pyramidal in shape, having forward projection. Already mentioned that vocal process and lateral projection. The muscular process to which posteriorly cricoarytenoid and lateral cricothyroid muscle attached. These pair cricoarytenoid unit are main functional element of the larynx, which is forming the speech and swallowing part. And you have to preserve one component so that preserving one component can function efficiency. And there is two corniculate cartilage which is found at the apex of the arytenoid cartilage within the aryepiglottic fold. Between the vocal and ventricular ligament, I mean between the true and false vocal cord, there is space as a diverticulum. This space is called laryngeal ventricle, which is having the saccule. In this saccule contain numerous mucus glands which secrete the mucus which lubricate the vocal cords. Another important anatomical space in laryngeal oncology surgery is paraglottic space, which is situated between the conus elasticus and behind the thyroid lamina, and posteriorly you have the piriform sinus mucosa. So this space is called paraglottic space. Sometime you have to see and look into oncological surgery if there is any extension of tumor in this space. Now, relevant vasculature of larynx related to transoral surgery. The pharyngoepiglottic fold is important in transoral surgery due to the presence of neurovascular bundle in it. It's comprise the superior laryngeal artery, superior laryngeal vein, and internal branch of superior laryngeal nerve. The artery travels within the pharyngoepiglottic fold and divided into 5 branches. First branch is ascending branch, supply the epiglottis. Second branch is the vallecular artery which supply the vallecula. Other branch which supply the false vocal cord. Third branch is posterior cricoid region, and fourth branch which supply the ventricle. And some branches supply this ventricle branch thyroarytenoid muscle. So there are 5 branches. First is ascending epiglottic branch. Second is ventricle branch. Third one is postcricoid branch. Fourth one is false vocal cord branch, and fifth one is thyroarytenoid muscle branch. So these 5 branches are actually branch of the superior laryngeal artery. There is a consistent branch of superior laryngeal artery which runs from posterior to anterior within the undersurface of false vocal cord. The superior laryngeal artery can generally be found in the superior portion of triangle that is formed by the anterior commissure anteriorly, vocal process of arytenoid cartilage posteriorly, and attachment of aryepiglottic fold to the epiglottis laterally. So this branch can be encountered anteriorly while doing epiglottis or false vocal cord lesion. The variation of anatomy of superior laryngeal artery can coexist with potential threat to bleeding. The inferior laryngeal artery arises from the inferior thyroid artery and courses within the recurrent laryngeal nerve on the trachea, entering the larynx beneath the lower border of the inferior constrictor muscle. And the cricothyroid artery is a branch of superior thyroid artery and passes across the upper part of the cricothyroid ligament. So this is main arterial supply of the larynx. Now talk about neurology, means nerve supply of the larynx related to transoral surgery. The motor and sensory supply to larynx is derived from the vagus nerve. At the level of greater corner of hyoid bone, the superior laryngeal nerve divided into internal and external laryngeal nerve. The internal branch bears the thyroid membrane just above where the superior laryngeal artery enters the membrane. The internal laryngeal nerves gives the sensory and secretomotor branch to the larynx above the vocal fold. The branch terminates by piercing the inferior constrictor and uniting with the ascending branch of recurrent laryngeal nerve, where the anastomosis is formed. This anastomosis is called Galen anastomosis. This Galen anastomosis between the recurrent laryngeal nerve and superior laryngeal nerve sometimes very important. If you damage any nerve during surgery, this Galen anastomosis sometimes compensates the neurological process. It helps the recovery of the nerve damage during the thyroid surgery. So this Galen anastomosis is very important. The internal branch of superior laryngeal nerve is intimately associated with superior laryngeal artery, and this is an important consideration during oncological surgery. This nerve generally split into 2 branches, one which supply the mucosa above the ventricle and one which supply the mucosa below the ventricle. If mucosa superior is to the removed and excision of supraglottic lesion, then preservation of superior branches irrelevant. And the preservation of inferior branch, which supply the mucosa below the ventricles or vestibule, this could potentially help the cough reflex preventing. So inferior branch is important to preservation of laryngeal surgery to protect the cough reflex and prevent the aspiration.